My name is Bilal, and today I am recording this reflection on the importance of being an innovative practitioner. Firstly, I'd like to mention what I'll be discussing today. Uh, I'll, Firstly, the background of what I teach and where I teach, the importance of being an innovative practitioner. What I was thinking was being or planning to become an innovative practitioner, how well my experience has been as an innovative practitioner by explaining an example of an innovative resource which I have used in my classroom, which is one of them is tech-based and two are not. Conclusion of my innovative experience and what I plan to do forward as in an action plan of what I would like to do. This model of reflection is based on the model of reflection of Gibbs, where I would like to explain uh, what happened, my feelings of what's happened, uh, what I was thinking and feeling, a conclusion, and an analysis, and then an action plan of what I'll be doing next. Firstly, I teach at an independent boarding school. At an independent boarding school, I teach ages 11 to 12, 14, and 15. The areas that I teach in and the subjects that I teach in are English and Urdu language. I concentrate on the grammar and writing aspects of both subjects. This is my first year of teaching, so it's definitely a learning day. Every day is a learning day for me. My first lessons as a teacher, as a training teacher or a teacher, were very daunting, and I would panic. At times I would panic. I did feel that there's something wrong in my lessons because students were losing they were losing their attention. There was disengagement, which led to slight small behavioral issues. So there's definitely something that I was doing wrong. It can't be that it's just the learner's fault. There's something where I was doing something wrong. So I felt that I assessed my lessons, and I felt that what I'm doing wrong is that my lessons are not interactive and engaging very much. As it is a wide concept that today interactivity technology is all over. It starts from very young age, so it needs to be embedded into our lessons for students to develop and learn accordingly. I firstly to tackle the small behavior issues I had was the red book, which I felt would tackle behavior issues through the concept of three strikes and you're out, where students would, if the name has come three or more times in the book, then they would have to a discipline action would be taken with them, i.e., detention or some sort of sanction, etc. After that, to improve engagement and interactivity with students, I used the Tarsier Triangle. This was not a tech resource, but again, it's a resource which I developed for my lesson, especially for languages where I had put the definition, etc., or the use of that word, for example, and then they would have to make up the whole triangle. And then and again, it was a contest, like a contest to who could finish first. Those students that finished first, and I had another task to assess the deeper learning, where they would have to use them sentences and then phrases and then definitions in actual whole paragraph, or if it's a word in a sentence or if it's a word in a phrase, etc. So this helped with two issues: their behavior, because they were interested and they were interacting with something, and there was a sense of competition. Being them boys, they were very eager to win each and every group. They were in groups. And then it also helped with the assessment, where I could assess surface learning and then deeper learning with the activity after that. The second innovative resource which I really like to mention today is Plickers, the application called Plickers, which is available on Android and iOS services. It's a resource to assess, again, assessment. It's for assessment and formative assessment, especially for surface learning, which I felt there's a very traditional way of just asking questions and, what's this and how is that and what's the answer to this, but I wanted to use something different where I can assess the surface learning, and then I can go deep into it as another task where the students are much more engaged and they're doing something enjoying it rather than just a plain old writing on the paper or answering a question. So this particular session where I use a Plickers resource, I felt that students were much more engaged. Students were very eager to answer questions, and students wanted to ensure that they knew the right answer. So lessons prior to that or the lesson that day, they would make sure that they're paying attention, and they would like to know what's next, and they would ask further questions for deeper knowledge, those that wanted deeper knowledge, and those that could take in the deeper knowledge, which means that someone came for extra help if they were finding it difficult because they wanted to get the basic knowledge right, which this also helped me extremely for differentiation, whereas when I was like, I was a bit unsure on who needed and who not, whereas because I didn't have proper assessments, So this actually helped me there with the differentiation. The fantastic thing in this app is the students are putting things up, and it gives you a whole overview and a whole graph of exactly how things are going, and who gave so many A's, who gave B, who gave C, who gave D, and how many percentage were right, how many percentage were wrong, which gives you a very precise overview of who knows what they're saying and who knows that and who is wrong. Sorry, so this helped me for the assessment and for differentiation. However, what didn't go well, because due to technology, you have to be very patient with it. The first time I tried it, it failed due to it wouldn't pick up the Wi-Fi signal or something like that, and then the actual battery had died on the device that I was using, so I had to go run off and get something else set. So, but after the first or second time using it in lessons, I had actually kind of mastered it, and it became very well, and the students enjoyed it a lot. So much so to the fact that one of the students said to me, "Sir, can we have this again, or can we do this activity again with on a different subject?" Which is very good for me, which I enjoyed, and I felt that that was a success. Again, it did have its defaults, but that I would like to mention in my action plan what I would like to do going further. A conclusion of my innovative experience is that it went well, and I actually need to use much more technology in my lessons, not just PowerPoint. Whereas at least I need to use much more lessons in my PowerPoint. Again, this is part of my action plan where my lessons must be more interactive, more engaging, and more tech-based. Students were much more engaged when I use technology. They love the fact that they can use a mobile phone in lesson with permission, and it's whereas it's very different to most lessons where they're not allowed to use their mobile phones or something like that. Again, what I am wary about, and which I have slightly tried, is that if I keep using the same sort of innovative resource, then it may become disengaging for the learners, as it's quite repetitive. So what I'm looking at is using a different resource for assessment, such as Socrates, which again is an assessment resource, but again it's a different way of doing the assessment. So again, that hopefully that will be as engaging as Plickers was. Again, that's all part of my action plan. Main points on my action plan are that I have a minimum of 2 lessons a week where learners are actually physically involved in the lesson interactively. So it caters for all types of for all 3 types of learners: visual, anesthetic, and visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Students that may come up to the board hands, or they use their phones to answer questions, where Socrates they have multiple choice questions on the phone or tablets or computers, etc. After that, I want to make sure that I try any of these new ideas and these fantastic fun ideas before the lesson or in a plenary of a previous lesson, so I make sure that it works, or try it at home or something like that whilst I'm planning, so it doesn't waste the valuable and crucial time I have in that lesson. Thirdly, I would like to give a student survey out at the end of maybe possibly the half term or the year, where I ask students how did they find these innovative resources, and how did they find these tech-based resources, and did it improve their learning, did they feel that they enjoyed it, and again their assessment marks and their learning and their approach to everything will reflect on this. Again, that's the end of my reflection of being an innovative practitioner. I hope that other teachers out there who aren't innovative practitioners become innovative practitioners, and that'll be all from me today. Thank you very much.